Okay, so I'm doing this video for a response to Chasing the Murdered cha- channel. Chasing the Murders. How do you even say that? Chasing the Murdered channel. I'm doing this as a video response, okay, regarding the recent Chris Watts interview that they did with him in prison and stuff. Because you had asked if, like, we wanted to throw in our 2 cents, and I wanna throw in my 2 cents. So this is, like, one of the questions that you had asked was, why do I think the investigators went in to investigate him again? Or not investigate because the case is over. Why do I think that the investigators went in to talk to Chris Watts again? Um, from what I could tell, I believe it was to get closure for Shanann's family. I think that there was, like, so many questions, and the family of Shanann had been so nice and so showed so much mercy towards this prick. Excuse my language, but that's what he is, you know? I think that the investigators, like, it really touched their hearts, and I think that they really wanted to try to get some closure for the family. I think they really wanted to in their minds, I think that they thought that because they kept on saying over and over again, "Now that the case is closed, you can say what really happened. We're not here to throw any more dirt on you or get any more dirt on you. We really want to just see, um, what the real story is." Now, the thing about when they said that they were gonna keep it private, I don't understand that one either. That's one that I don't understand. Like, obviously, it's very, very public, and there's been several channels that have, um, made commentary and just straight up put the whole interview on their channels and stuff. So I don't understand where they said that they were going to keep it private. They said for the family, they're going to keep it private, and I think that was kind of wrong, you know? Because if you are going to keep it private and you are going in it to try to get closure for the family and try to learn the real truth, to have an opportunity for it to go public like that, I think was kind of a slap in the face. Um, so I don't understand that part. But, some of the points that you made about the Chris Watts interview in jail with these 3 investigators, first of all, this is the one thing because I listened to the whole thing. I think this is the thing. Um, he was bragging in the interview that he has such a great memory, right? Like, "I was blessed with this wonderful memory. I can remember anything." And he can remember a lot of things. Like, he says that he can remember Bible verses. Like, he just read the Bible in jail and he can remember verses and he's giving other prisoners Bible verses to inspire them and this and that. He can remember, like, all these, little details about every little thing, but then he says, "Oh, well, when it comes to killing my kids, like, I don't remember every detail, or I don't know why I did this." No, he's still lying, okay? He's still trying to get himself not killed in jail is what he's doing, because he knows that if he straight up just was like, "Yeah, I had this new broad on the side, and I wanted to kill my family so I could be with her," that would expedite the process of him getting shanked in jail. Um, so he's still trying to kind of, put the spin on it that he just lost his mind and he was out of control. He didn't know what he was doing. He don't remember half of it. He knows, okay? He knows every single reason why he did it. It was premeditated. It was planned out. It was thought out. He is a monster. Um, One of the things in the interview that really struck me that I did not understand is when he says that he just got on top of his wife to have a conversation, okay? He was a lot bigger than this little girl that was pregnant, and I don't mean little girl as in age. I'm talking the physical between him and his wife was substantial, and so you're gonna get on your pregnant wife and squash her belly and all this and that just to talk to her. First of all, she wouldn't let that happen. No pregnant woman is going to let that happen, that you're gonna be laying on the baby, having just a normal conversation about separation. Who does that? That would what? And for 2, I'm not even pregnant, but if my hubby tried to get on me and lay on top of me and be like, "Okay, we're gonna have a conversation," I'd be like, get off me," because he's big. a lot bigger than me, and it would not be comfortable, and I would not be comfortable having a conversation with him on top of me, straddling me. It's like, "Oh, we're gonna talk." It's like, it just there's so many, like, in this interview in the jail and stuff, there's so many things that don't make sense. One thing that's always struck out to me of why I think that it's premeditated is because of the fact of him calling that work buddy and making it like, nobody has to be there. I'll just go in early and do this. This was planned, okay? He was waiting for his wife to come home. He was already predicting that he was going to be out at this oil rig site by himself that morning with nobody else around, no witnesses, this and that. You know, I don't know if you've seen this case. I can't even remember the names of the people involved, but there was a story in the news recently about it was like a teenage girl and she got charged because she was trying to tell her boyfriend to commit suicide. Like, she was in his head. He was texting her several months, saying that he wanted to commit suicide and stuff, and she was kinda bullying him into it. Like, she was going, "Why don't you just do it? Ugh, you haven't done it yet? What is your problem?" And he's like, "Well, I don't know. I guess I'm scared." And she's like, "Just do it. Like, you can do it like this, you can do it like that. Just kill yourself already." You know? And I can picture the mistress being like that girl. You know, Chris Watts in the jailhouse interview, he said, "Well, Nicole Kessinger made this video and she said she was bipolar and I had to talk her from the ledge a few times." This girl was like one of those people that was controlling him too, you know? She was in his ear about things. She was like for months and months on Shanann's Facebook page, on Google, finding out all this information. There's no way she didn't know that this woman was pregnant. There's no way. She tries to say she didn't know. She knew, okay? She knew everything. And I can just picture, like, from my standpoint, I can picture her being in Chris Watts' ear. Not saying that it's like completely her fault. I mean, the dude killed his whole family. He's definitely to blame. I mean, but I'm saying I can picture this I can picture this woman being in his ear like, "I wanna be the first," because she had that trucker voice. I always thought my voice was bad, but this lady's voice was manly, okay? And so she's, like, in his ear. This is how I predict it happened. She's in his ear like, "I wanna have first with you. I wanna give you a son." Remember how Chris Watts said that Nicole Kessinger says, "I wanted to be the one to give you a son." So she knew that he was pregnant, that his wife was pregnant with a boy, because she didn't want that. She wanted it to be her that was pregnant with a boy for him. And then he had sent her that card saying, "We're gonna have a lot of firsts together." So throughout this whole thing, like, it was a plan. It was a pre-planned, like, if your wife and kids are out of the picture, then we can have the life that we really deserve and we can have everything, and I want all my firsts, and I want it to be with you. She was manipulating. She was sitting here saying, "But I want it to be with you. You're totally different." Remember how she said that comment about, "I don't usually let people come to my house, but with you, I'm comfortable. My dog likes you," and this and that. She was in his ear like the whole time, and he is a follower. And he was like, she was giving him sex. Remember how he said, "Oh, well, she wanted to have sex all the time." And I was just like, "Okay." He's a freaking retard. I mean, he might have a good memory. Maybe he's the Rain Man and all this shit, but guys are controlled by their dick. There's no question about it. Not to say that that's a justification again for killing your family, but that's how she was controlling him through sex and making it seem like this relationship is different. This relationship's going to be better than what you have with your wife. I can just picture her being in his ear like that teenage girl trying to get her boyfriend to commit suicide and then he finally did. When you have somebody that's not all the way mentally using all their facilities in the first place. And then you have this manipulative, dominant woman that's in your ear saying, "Oh, just do it. We have a better relationship than you and your wife." And it's just constant, like over and over and over again. I can't stop but thinking that That was the thing. That was the plan all along, and then his wife was gonna come home that night. I can just picture the texts. "Oh, what is she there yet? Are you gonna do it? Are you gonna do it?" You know? That's the theory, and that's the picture that I get in my head. Are you gonna do it? When she comes home, are you really gonna do it? Like, you're not gonna back out, right? I mean, we have our relationship on the line. I mean, this woman was, like, Googling wedding dresses and, you know, can it work out with a mistress? Can we really have a great relationship? I mean, she was Googling all of it. She was stalking Shanann's page and all that. And then all the phone calls. Remember when the cops came to check on this dude's wife? And his phone kept going off and he answered it at one point and says, "I'll call you later." She knew what was going on. She wanted to know if the cops were there. She wanted to know if anything was found out yet. She told him, "Delete all your messages. If you're innocent, like, if the only crime that you've committed is sleeping with a married man, which most there's a lot of women out there that do that. What's the big thing about, like, "Oh, delete all your messages, delete all your messages." Like, she really obviously didn't even care about sleeping with the married man, she's, like, carrying on with someone at the office, and all the workers knew about it, and all her friends knew about it because she was talking to them about him. So, why would it just be delete all your messages just because I'm having sex with a married man? Like, she obviously didn't care that she was having sex with a married man. So, and then remember when Nicole Kessinger did get interviewed by the cops, and her father was in the room saying, "Don't answer that. They're trying to bait you. Don't answer that." And her lies, like, her lies saying that she didn't know his wife was pregnant when she did know, and "I didn't know he was married," and she did know. Like, I just I she knew all this stuff. She was obviously very jealous of the wife. She was obviously wanting everything that the wife had. She had even been in the house of Chris Watts and said, "Wow, everything's beautiful. Everything's great." She wanted that. She had told him several times, "It never works out with any guy. Oh, I wanna be the one that has a man and a husband and the firsts and the kids, and I want first. Like, I want first times of this and that." It's like, and I don't understand either why the cops didn't go more ferociously after this woman because for one thing, you know, you don't just say like delete all the messages and then I mean, why did they just put her case to bed like right away? Why didn't they investigate her more? She obviously had a lot more information at the very least. And like you said, it's like she should have at least got tampering with evidence or some kinda charge like that, but no, they just, like, let her go, like, she had something to do with it. Okay, she I really believe my theory is I really believe that she was in his ear telling him, "If you do this, we can be together. If you do this, we can." There's no way that he snapped and then, because like you said, I mean, he drove his truck to the site. Okay, he claims he's in a rage, he just killed his wife, but he drives, like, an hour to this site and then kills his children? Rages don't last that long. And, like, I've had situations in my life where I've flown into a rage and done something, and then it's like immediately you regret it. Like, if it's something bad, like, you throw something at your husband or something, it's like you immediately feel bad. Like, after the rage is over, you're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." I mean, I've had times where I've said something hurtful and just immediately after just start breaking down crying, like, "I'm so sorry. I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that. I'm so sorry." Like, right after you do something wrong that this was really wrong and you really screwed up. And he's trying to make it sound like, "Oh, I just flew in a rage and I killed my wife, and then I just methodically took her body out to the truck, and then I methodically took my girls out to the truck, and we drove for an hour, and I'm still in this rage. I still don't know what I'm doing, and then I smother both of my girls out there at this oil rig site. Still, I don't remember a thing because I don't know what I was doing. Then I put them down the oil tank, and then I just drove home, and I pretended like, I didn't know where my wife was. "Oh, I'm just still in a rage." He was so calm, though. When he got home and the cops were talking to him, he was so calm on those police interviews and the television interviews. He was so calm just talking about, "I don't know, I have no inclination to where they could be." It wasn't a rage, okay? And plus his super memory, like he always brags about, it was planned, okay? There's no other explanation except for this was planned because if it was a rage and you did kill your wife in a fit of rage, immediately you would feel like, "Oh, I just fucked up. I just fucked up bad." You know what I mean? Like, I really, really blew it. Like, you wouldn't take your kids and drive them for an hour and then methodically smother them so they can't breathe, and it takes a while to smother somebody. And one of his daughters was, like, thrashing around. That's not a rage. You don't have, like, a two-day rage. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, let's look at road rage, okay? Driving down the street, somebody cuts you off, in the moment, you're ticked and your heart's racing, and you get out, you think it's gonna be a fist fight, you end up shooting the person. It happens, okay? You immediately, like, after you done you know it. You don't sit here and just after that, like, get in your car and start driving and go shooting people and killing everybody on the street, and you're still in a rage, and then you go to McDonald's and you blow everybody up there because you're still in that rage. Rages don't work like that. Rages work, like, in an instant, and then once it's over, you can think again. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't buy all that. I think even now that he has his sentence and he will be spending life in prison, he still knows, like, he talked in the interview, he knows he will be in GP at this prison at some point in time. And if you're gonna be in general population, those guys in jail don't like child killers. That's, like, one of the lowest, like, child molesters, child killers, you're not gonna make any friends. And I really believe it was just a self-preservation tactic that when he did this interview, even though he had his life sentence and they were telling him, "Oh, there's no dirt that can get anything worse for you." Yeah, he can get worse. He can get shanked in prison by somebody that doesn't like a cold-hearted child killer. So, he has to self-preserve himself, and he has to say, "Well, I was just in a rage, and I did not know what I was doing." Because then he thinks in his mind he might stand a chance. If he just says, "I had no clue, I just lost it, dude. I just lost it." Then he might be a little bit safer than if he were to just say, "I met this new piece of fluff on the side. I wanted her instead of my wife and kids. My wife and kids were kind of a drag, to tell you the truth, and so I killed them." You can't really say that. 'Cause that's not gonna fly when you're in jail. So he has to still he's a narcissist, he's still preserving himself. He didn't wanna kill himself. He sits here and says in that interview, "Oh, I was thinking about blowing myself up too." No, he wasn't. He never had any plans of killing himself. It was all to get rid of the family so that he could be with his little fluff of a mistress, truck driving voice, B or whatever you wanna say. Um so yeah, that's my 2 cents. But I wanted to come on and do that video because you said to make a video response, and I wanted to answer some of those questions as to why people thought that the investigators did the investigation and why, like, what was the point? I just wanted to throw my 2 cents in. Okay, well, thanks for watching, and hopefully that answered some questions for you. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.